Hello and welcome to i-nastava. Today's lesson is for English class with the first year students of high school. The topic is at the cinema. My name is Stephanie Kate Lukač and I'll be your teacher for the day. You're going to paraphrase information from an article. You're also going to create a digital poster. For the lesson, you're going to need your notebooks, a pen or a pencil, a device with the internet connection, and a QR scanner if possible. Feel free to pause the video anytime throughout the lesson. It might have been a while since you've last been to the cinema, but you do know where the nearest cinema to you is, right? Can you remember the different parts of a cinema, starting from the time you walk in to the time you walk into the movie theater to watch your film? Well, now's the time to test your knowledge. With the link, Cinema Vocab, or the QR code to open it, you have a matching game. So you're matching the different parts of the cinema to its definitions. Now would be a good time to pause the video to try your knowledge, and good luck. Although I'm certain that most of you, if not all of you, have checked over your answers upon finishing the matching game, I would like to review just to make sure. Also, pronunciation might be a problem for some of the words. With the first one, silver screen, I don't think that was too much of a problem. It's what you're watching the movie on. As for aisle, you must walk down the aisle to get to your seat. With auditorium, that's the whole area where the viewers are sitting in the movie theater. When it comes to box, or a separate space that is also called the VIP lounge in some cinemas, that's usually reserved for the chosen few because the tickets can be quite expensive. You might not have heard of concessions, which is a fancy name for the food and drink you buy at the cinema. Foyer or foyer, depending on whether you're an American or Brit, is basically the big hall when you come into the cinema, or I should say in front of the cinema, where you're buying tickets or concessions. I don't think the word row presented a problem for you. You all sit in a line or in a row. Box office is a fancy name for where you buy your tickets. In the past, it literally was like a small box or booth, which is where the name comes from. And the last one, multiplex. I'm pretty sure you all got this one right. Many cinemas all in one space, like Sinistar. I hope that wasn't too much of a problem for you. We all love to watch different genres. For example, actions or thrillers, classics, fantasy or science fiction, or perhaps a good romantic comedy or comedy. All of us love a good laugh from time to time. I would like you to pause the video so that you can copy off the questions. In the next slide, you're going to watch a video with Mr. Bean. I think everybody loves Mr. Bean. He's a good laugh. So you're going to need to take notes for this video and answer the questions. Number 1, what's his first mishap when sitting down in the auditorium? Number 2, what could be a reason for the popcorn or beverage mistakes? Mistakes under quotation marks, right? Number 3, what does he do with the popcorn before the film? How is he behaving? Number 4, who is more frightened, Bean or the girl? Number 5, why is Bean covering his face? Number 6, name 3 things he does throughout the movie when he's the most frightened. So now would be a good time to pause the video, to copy the questions down, and then we'll keep going. As I mentioned before, here you're going to be watching a short video about Mr. Bean at the cinema. I'm sure you can guess that you'll have a good laugh here. So either click on the link or scan the QR code to take you to the YouTube video. Take notes about your answers to these questions and then we'll go over them a little bit later. Now will be a good time to pause the video again so that you can watch the video in peace and take your notes. Good luck! I would like to go over the answers to the questions as some possibilities. What I've written are some examples of things that you might have. If you don't have exact word for word, but you have the main message, that's the most important. So with his first mishap, He gave his girlfriend the smallest box of popcorn, but he bought the largest for himself. He also doesn't let her take any of his popcorn, but he does help himself to hers. With his so-called mistakes with the popcorn or the beverages, some possibilities. So he might be too cheap. He might not have enough money. He might have spent too much money before going to the cinema. We don't know where they went or where they could have gone before. He could be too selfish. Anything like this along these lines is fine. With the next two questions, we've also got some more examples. With the popcorn and his behavior, he does stick the popcorn into different body parts, like his lips and his nose. If you recall, kind of like vampire-ish with his lips and shoving them up his nose, all the while after which he kind of blows them out back into the tub and eats them, which means he's the silliest person there, or he's not mature enough, or too childish, whichever you prefer. With fright, of course, Mr. Bean is more frightened than the girl. And with the last two questions, why is he covering his face? He can't watch because the movie is scarier than he thought it would be, or he's not brave enough, or he's too frightened. Something along those lines. With the three things that Bean does throughout the movie when he's the most frightened, there were more than three examples, but I wanted at least three. Where he covers his face, he pulls his sweater over his head, he puts the popcorn box over his head, he shakes like a leaf, throwing popcorn all over the place, or he also puts popcorn in his ears. Something along those lines as well. I hope that wasn't too difficult for you, and you had fun watching as well. I hope you noticed the different comparative and superlative structures in the questions and answers I've given you. Just to briefly review, you've got the ER ending or more in front of the adjective with the comparative, like scarier or more frightened. As for the superlative, you almost always need the in front of the adjective, whether you're adding the ending est or the word most, as in the smallest or the most frightened. When it comes to the word too, you want to say something is overly described or done, for example, too childish. With enough, you need to be careful. First of all, enough is mostly used in negative sentences. If the word is a noun, then enough needs to come before, like enough money. However, if it's an adjective, then it needs to come after, like mature enough. Is your memory coming back with this? Now I'd like you to give it a go. With the first link, Cinema Clause, or the upper QR code, you need to choose which answer goes into which blank. Each possible answer has something to do with the comparative, superlative, to, or enough. When you've finished that, make sure to click on Submit to check over your answers and send your teacher your results. As for the second link, Cinema Fill, or the lower QR code, you need to fill in the blanks yourselves, paying attention to the adjective or noun in the brackets next to the blank. You can also check your answers at the end when you click on the blue circle with the check mark. Don't forget to send those results to your teacher too. Both tasks make up one full story. Hope you have fun. Also, don't be afraid to try. If you don't make an attempt at all, you won't be able to learn from your mistakes and improve your language skills. Please pause the video so you can go through these exercises. Good luck. I hope the previous tasks weren't too difficult for you. Now, if we take a look at recent times, what has changed since the coronavirus has come when it comes to going to the cinema? You're going to read an article, but first I'd like you to choose one person from this list. Matt from Tokyo, Jacob from Copenhagen, Gabrielle from Rome, Liz from Hong Kong, Jean from Seoul, Lisa from Paris, or Elizabeth from the Barcelona region. Please don't change your minds when you open the article. All people are interesting. So choose one and stick with that person. Here you can see the QR code or link, Cinema COVID. which you need to click on or scan to take you to the article. You'll need to read through the text, paying special attention to the person you've chosen. All of them are given the same questions by the reporter. You need to make a summary of what each person has said. This means to paraphrase, put into your own words. Write your summary and send it to your teacher. Pay attention to the following things on the list before you hand it in. Make sure it's 100 to 200 words. You should probably go in the same order the questions and their answers are, so that you know you haven't skipped over any information. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is not to copy-paste the sentences into your summary. Copying will get you nowhere. Be sure to check it over and ask a friend or classmate to check as well. Sometimes a fresh pair of eyes makes a world of difference. They might see more clearly than you who have read over at least 5 times to see. Once again, send your summary to your teacher. Now would be a good time to pause the video in order to do the writing task. Good luck! For your final task, it's time to do some research. You need to go online to find information about the COVID measures at the cinemas here in Croatia. Make a digital poster using Canva or Adobe Spark, or any other website or app you feel comfortable with. Other than the information that you found, also include pictures. Be creative. Just pay attention to possible copyright. Ensure you're using free images like from Pixabay or Unsplash. If you wish, you can also ask for consent by the author to use his or her picture. Consent must be in written form. Below are some links to help you if necessary, if you're not sure how to make a digital poster. Once again, don't forget to send your work to your teacher. I hope you have fun while learning something new about possible changes when you decide to go to the cinema. Here's a small checklist to help you out with organization. Have you answered all the questions with the video? Have you finished your online digital poster? Have you summarized from the article using the person you chose? Obviously, green means you've done it, yellow means you started but haven't finished it yet, and red means you haven't done it. But I'm sure you'll all be green, right? I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and remember to stay safe and stay healthy, whether it's at the cinema or anywhere else. Take care.